1, 2, 3, 4.
And welcome back to another episode of Breakfast with Brothers.
No, but for real, thank you everyone for coming back, tuning in to the Blessed Brothers, or should I say, Breakfast Blessed. Regardless, thanks for coming. Thanks for tuning in. It's your
Brothers
brother's
Blessed.
Brothers Blessed. I didn't know there was a Brothers Blessed podcast. No, we're not changing our name, so don't think of any good ideas yet. But if you do have cool nicknames that we can come up with in the future, we'd love to hear them. So send the thoughts. Regardless, what are we putting the people on to today, brother?
The cold.
The cold. How cold?
The cold. Real
The
cold. The
Ice
coldest.
cold.
The coldiest.
The realist. I think that was
We're talking-
a football player's name.
The realist, yeah.
The realist.
No, we're talking about that absolutely awful weather that we've been having as of recently. I know it's a little bit different for me out on the island. I'm not getting as much snow as some other northern states, but it's still definitely poo-poo.
Poo-poo is a nice way to put it. To be fair.
All right.
Compared to like other winters and stuff, I feel like it's cold. It's worse off than it was, like, say, for example, last winter. Hard to remember continually behind that years and years past, but this year it just seems to continue on. Punxsutawney Phil didn't see a shadow, or he did. I can never remember which one.
No, wait, hold on.
What happened in my winter.
Hold on.
What?
Let's not inform the people wrong, dude. Let's see the true answer of Punxsutawney Phil.
I'm pretty sure if he sees his shadow, it means more winter. And if he doesn't, it means it's going to end quicker. More quicker.
So, February 2nd, 2025, Punxsutawney Phil predicts 6 more weeks of winter after waking up to see his shadow.
So, okay, I was right. Shadow seen, more winter.
Yep.
Regardless of the case of a groundhog seeing his shadow. Sounds like we're getting more winter. And it also, I guess, ensued with the effect of worse winter, but that's not fair. Seeing the shadow doesn't mean worse winter. Like, what gives?
I don't know. I think Punxsutawney Phil is some sort of, like, shadow demon or something like that. You know? Like, they're putting a lot of faith. They're putting a lot of faith behind this groundhog, you know what I'm saying?
He's not wrong, though. I mean, you can, like, look what we're going through right now.
But he said 6 more weeks. And it's like, truthfully, that's just the extent of, like, winter in general. Like, from that point, it's just like, that's the extent of, like, true winter, you know? And then it starts, like, easing out of it. You know what I mean? Like, it starts
mid-March,
warming up
roughly.
a little. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And I mean, like, don't get me wrong. Like, sometimes, like, I've seen snow, like, on my birthday, which is, like, the beginning of May. So, but, like, for the most part, it does warm up. So, Punxsutawney Phil, you know what? Anyone who is within that conglomeration of supporting Punxsutawney Phil, please message us. Let us know. I'd love to get one of you guys on here to talk to you and really, really understand what the hell is going on there.
I'm sure there's someone in a Facebook group somewhere that's listening to this, and they're like, oh my gosh, they're going to love this. And now we're going to have to join, and we're going to have to become a part of the Phil clan. In some fashion, I'm sure that there's a group, I swear, and I'm not just making this up. Like, there's a group for everything. So I imagine this is inclusive of the possibility of a group existing.
Listen, I never said I'd join it. I need someone to truly convince me. I need someone to truly convince me, and then I would consider following it. But they'd have to convince me.
Question: what if them convincing you to join the group was just so they could show you about other people's viewpoints in trying to convince you?
No, I need someone to talk to first. I gotta understand the inner. I gotta understand the inner machinations of their minds.
Punxsutawney shadow expert.
Yeah, like I gotta rack someone's brain about that first before I start diving headfirst into that.
I mean, it is funny to think that it not only is a following as far as seeing an animal come up out of what I imagine is his version of hibernation, and then people flocking to see the event, and then on top of that, for it to be a recognized holiday. Groundhog Day, of all days of the year, one of the first few that you get to just unleash into, February nonetheless. But I also think about it as not like a monumental event, but just another blip in the timeline where people can look forward to the possibility of, oh, thank gosh, winter's almost over with. I can't take this cold weather anymore. And it's a gamble for them. Because, of course, sadly, when Punxsutawney goes ahead and sees his shadow, everyone's like, God! You know, it's just like...
that damn groundhog, dude. I just want
to... And they're whispering curses under their breath, just like, why does he always get it right? He just always seems to be right. And again, it's proven that Punxsutawney Phil ends up being superior. And in this case, I will have to admit that Ian might be right in the sense that he is being controlled by a shadow demon. Who's to say? No idea. I'm not going to go ahead and start slandering any Phil experts out there, especially in those Facebook groups, especially. But
listen,
if
man,
there is, like Ian said, someone that wants to come forward, we'll have you on as a guest. We'd love to talk more winter. There's plenty to gossip and complain and rave on about the cold, wintry weather.
Listen, man, no distaste, no ill will towards the followers of Punxsutawney Phil. Like everyone has their thing. Yeah, shout out Punxsutawney Phil. Try spelling that. Come back and type in the chat, like the comments, Punxsutawney. All right, yeah, get back to me on that. All right, but no hate on them. They follow what they follow. I'm just joshing, but it's like I don't understand. They dress up in like old garb, like they wear like top hats and like long coats or something like that. I don't know. They have like a whole.
That want to see it, or
yeah. What is it?
Like the Punxsutawney welcoming committee? Yeah, I'm sure they put on the garb, long coats, trench coats, top hats.
Yeah, let's see.
They're certainly not wearing like bowling caps or anything. I mean, you know what? Maybe they are.
No, well, they might be. I don't know if it's just like top hats or. No, it wouldn't be a bowler's cap. It's a top hat. Punxsutawney Phil is a groundhog from Pennsylvania who's famous for his annual Groundhog Day weather predictions. Now, mind you, Punxsutawney Phil supposedly is the same groundhog from like years back. Like,
no,
not.
I thought they already admitted that wasn't the case.
Right. They ended up admitting that, but like for a while they were like, yeah, no, he's the original groundhog. No way.
We've been keeping him frozen.
Yeah, because it says the tradition dates back to 1887. Ain't no way a groundhog. Yeah. When the Punxsutawney Groundhog Club declared the town the weather capital of the world. Every February 2nd, Phil emerges from his burrow at Gobbler's Knob.
No, he did not. That is not happening.
Dude, I'm 100% honest.
No, it is not.
I'm 100% honest that is the name. I'm sorry, but that's the episode name for today.
I'm sorry. We just cut it there. That's good. The content's great. We're calling it a day.
I'm 100% serious, and look it up, and you let me know if it's the truth, but it says Gobbler's Knob before sunrise. If it's cloudy, he'll leave his burrow and spring is expected to come early. I just want to know what they do. Gobbler's Knob. Let's see. Yeah, like even the Wikipedia article. I'm gonna zoom in on it, and I'm gonna show the camera. Gobbler's Knob.
I was gonna say I was literally typing. My phone was being slow, but Gobblers. Me typing, me typing it into Google.
Just give you Punxsutawney Phil.
Landmark. Okay, so it's also a landmark in Utah, a fire lookout in Washington, and a natural amphitheater in Pennsylvania. So that would have to mean that the amphitheater in Pennsylvania, yes. Groundhog featured in the annual Groundhog Day celebration. That's awesome.
Gobbler's Knob, dude.
Wow. Not only that, there's multiple other places called Gobbler's Knob, which is incredible nonetheless.
If Phil sees his shadow and returns to his hole, he has predicted 6 more weeks of winter-like weather. If Phil does not see his shadow, he has predicted an early spring. Punxsutawney's event is the most famous of many Groundhog Day festivals. Back in 1887. I was going to say the event is organized by the Inner Circle, recognizable by their top hats and tuxedos, who ostensibly communicate with Phil to receive his prediction. The vice president of the Inner Circle prepares 2 scrolls in advance of the actual ceremony, one proclaiming 6 more weeks of winter and one proclaiming an early spring. Yeah, daybreak on February 2nd, Punxsutawney Phil awakens from his burrow on Gobbler's Knob.
Awakens.
Is helped to the top of the stump by his handlers and purportedly explains to the president of the Inner Circle in a language known as Groundhogese.
No way.
Dude, I am not lying right now. Whether he has seen his shadow. The president of the Inner Circle, the only person able to understand Groundhogese through his possession of an ancient acacia wood cane, then interprets Phil's message and directs the vice president to read the proper scroll to the crowd gathered on Gobbler's Knob, and the masses of faithful followers. Oh, okay, I see the little pun they did there. It's spelled extremely weird. Tuned into a live broadcast around the world. Phil resides with a mate, too, Phyllis.
Phil. So not only does Phil have a wife, but now he also has someone who speaks his language, his little animal chirping noises. There's a lot of lore behind this that I did not expect.
I know, I did not know that lore. Like, I knew they dressed in like top hats and tuxedos. Like, I knew that. I didn't know they had one man that spoke Groundhogese.
What? It makes sense for the event, dressing up. I get that because it's an annual thing and it's a recognized holiday. And getting to that point in Gobbler's Knob, like, I get it. I understand like the whole idea of the dress up, etc. The gathering, it's been around. It's been a tradition. I get that. It's similar to like if you went and saw your family for Thanksgiving. Or you guys were getting together for like an Easter celebration, or something like like Hanukkah, gathering around to light the candle, whatever. This is now, I don't know if it's a national holiday, but now it's gotten to the point where they have scrolls for this. They can apparently pull someone out that speaks the groundhog's language. Like now we're getting almost to the point of fairy tale-esque. Like it feels very sing-songy,
Yeah, like I get the idea. It's supposed to be fun. Like it's like the hope that winter ends early. Always, I know everyone probably thinks the same way, because Lord knows that I am ready for the winter to be done. But it's supposed to be fun. I get it. It's just a fun little thing, but it's also there may be people that take it seriously, and I apologize if there's any offense taken. But I think it's really just supposed to be like a fun event in the hopes to raise the spirits of people who are just very tired of the winter, trying to get them through it.
Absolutely. And yes, like Ian said, we don't mean to raise any offenses to those people in those Facebook groups or hardcore Phil followers by any means. But it's fun to joke about, because who would have, of course, Ian and I not being people who look at Groundhog Day as this huge event that we follow and, take account of with social media events and things like that, but it is crazy that it does have this big following. It would be like the equivalent of other people who do something like another thing that I don't follow too closely is like reality TV. But back when people were super fans of like Honey Boo Boo and stuff like that, it was gaining some type of similar attention in that fashion. So this is just another thing, but at least this has history. Like this has a, a huge backstory. This is
Yeah, there's
what did you say,
tradition,
like
you know.
1818 or something like that.
1887, I think it was.
87.
Yeah, it's not terribly old, but like it's old enough for sure. The funny thing was like every year Groundhog Day comes around, I always check the Punxsutawney Phil like prediction, just for
gotta at least
just
see
for
it. Yeah.
just for giggles. And Dad and I always talk to each other about it. And I I texted him on February 2nd at 3:04 p.m. and I said, "Did you hear the great news, Pops?" He's like, "No." And I was like, "Punxsutawney Phil has spoken." he just sent a ha ha with the laughing face. And I was like, I said 6 more weeks of winter. And then he was like, "I thought you were gonna say I won the lottery, or you won the lottery, and I was the only one that didn't know it."
Actually, I did. We got 6 more weeks of winter. Yippee me! I'm the big winner today.
Yeah, I was like, "Nope, 6 more weeks of winter."
That's the thing too. Like having that as your gamble. It's a 50-50 shot. 50% says that winter's going to be short. You're going to get an early spring. Thank gosh for warm March. The other side says, "Oh my gosh, you're getting snow April 8th. Good luck to everyone else." Where it's like,
Yeah. But to get off the Punxsutawney Phil chat, we won't slander Punxsutawney Phil anymore. Yeah, it's just been damn near cold. Not damn near cold. It's been gosh darn cold lately.
gosh darn.
It's been absolutely freezing here in Nantucket, but we always have like 30-mile-an-hour winds here consistently.
I was going to say being at the shoreline brings some of that extra cold. Any body of water for that fact.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's you get used to it after a little bit. It really doesn't bother you as much, but I want to say it was this Monday. So most people probably had off for President's Day. I ended up working on President's Day because I got, I get like a holiday pay, and then if you work the holiday, then you get a little bonus kind of thing. And just a backstory, I missed a couple of days last week because I was feeling under the weather. But besides the point, worked on Monday, and it was probably like I was working right on like the shoreline basically, and it was probably easily upwards of like 40 45 mile an hour winds. And because like as the gusts came in, I should say the gusts were probably upwards of like 50, 60 miles an hour, because as the gusts came in, like I would get like pushed legitimately. Like as I was trying to, as I was working at the one property we were at, I was just pull, like using two or three, like they're just poles. We have like a tool at the end of it. It could be like we call it a pole saw, or a pole clip, or a pole pruner, which is literally like a pole pruner. You use like a little rope and you just pull down, and it clips whatever you're trying to get. If you can't climb the tree, or like if it's too far out, like on the edges of the branches and such. But I am with like 3 6-foot poles stacked up, and I'm just the entire day, dude.
At a circus trying to balance yourself.
It was terrible, and it was also God, it was so cold that day. I think it read when we left the shop. It read like feels like, no, not feels like. It was like 20 degrees that day, like leaving the shop. Feels like -3, I think it was. With the wind chill. So you can imagine what that does to your fingers.
You're gonna say you need 2 pairs of gloves, maybe even 3.
No, it was a terrible day. Like that was definitely the worst day, just because of the wind. Like the rest, like as the week has gone by, like it's been cold, but the wind has been relatively calm. But man, I'm very much over the winter. I can't deal with it anymore. And it's like usually I'm pretty good working in the winter. I can as long as I can always go with, and I'm taking this from the what is it called? The Outdoor Boys. I don't know if you've ever watched that YouTube channel.
I don't think so.
Shout them out. What's his name? I'm blanking on his name right now, and I want to make sure I have it right. The Outdoor Boys. For those who know, you know exactly who I'm talking about.
Maybe I do know what you're talking about, but I can't say for off the top of my head that I do.
Yeah, I just want to get the names.
Da Bears.
Luke Nichols. That's his name.
Okay.
No, he's this total badass, honestly. He made the channel for like him and his kids. I'll just do a quick like thing. He made the channel for like him and his kids to go like out and like camping, exploring like, you know, the wilderness and kind of thing, and like teaching people how to do things, or at least showing them how to do things out like in the outdoors and everything. Really cool channel. If you haven't checked it out, I definitely recommend it. It's like family friendly, nothing crazy, but like this Luke goes out and just he's a total G out in the woods. Crazy dude. But he always says like, you know, I always go with like three things. He's like I could stand being cold, I could stand being, you know, I can stand being hungry, and then it's like I could stand like something else. He's like I never do like two at once or something like that. So it's like as long as so in a similar fashion, as long as like my feet are warm and my hands are cold, I'm okay. If my hands are warm and my feet are cold, I'm okay. But if both of them are freezing, then I'm not okay.
That's real. That's real as hell, though. I mean, there are times when I'll be covered up, like super thick socks, long johns on, totally good as far as my coat, hat, whatever. And then it's like if there's a good portion of my face still open, or I don't have like good gloves on, it's immediately obvious as soon as you get out into the cold. So Luke's got it right, dude. He's right on the money.
Yeah, I completely butchered it, but you'll understand if you watch it or if anyone knows. But yeah, no, I mean I'm trying to think like my basic winter outing for work. It's like I have my winter boots, which are just like it's insulated boots. So like you have like I think I have like 100 grams or of insulate in my boots and such, so that keeps me warm, as well as wool socks. Usually like thermal long johns, which is just like long underwear, or like kind of they're sort of like leggings if you don't know what I'm talking about. But they're I call them long johns. Thermal long johns, and then I have my chainsaw pants over top, which is like another like thick layer, and that's like my outer pant. And then I have like usually like an undershirt, a long sleeve, could be thermal, could just be like a omni wool type thing. And then I have my work shirt, which is like a long sleeve. It's like a wicking long sleeve, so the air passes through it, so it's not like a thick layer, but it's just another layer. A double ply hoodie, which is like a thicker hoodie is all. And then I usually wear a vest on top of that. And like at that point it's like, okay, I'll peel off my vest like if I get hot, and it's usually good. And then I have my brain bucket.
Classic.
Which does absolutely nothing for keeping your head warm. So, because it's just like you have the support, and then there's like, you know, there's obviously the passage in the helmet. So like all of that is just like the air's passing straight through it. But I usually have two, what the hell do they call it? I just call them socks every now and again. But it's just like windbreakers, like that you can just like slip on. There's basically like a tube of fabric. It's a gaiter. That's what it is. It's like a neck gaiter. You put it around like down here, and I cinch it up to my head, throw that up, so then I can fold it up over my face if I need to. and then I have another one for like around my noggin.
A
So-
tube of fabric. Yeah, I was trying to think what the heck I call mine, because I like at the end of golf season when we're still working October, November, that usually comes out pretty often because early mornings are brutal, and sometimes even the late afternoon when the sun goes down, it can get tough. The gator. Yeah, I don't think I would have came to that one as quickly. I definitely would have just stuck with tube of fabric.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm right with like neck gaiter, which is like, and I say like gaiter as in Gaiter, gaiter.
Yeah.
It's just like to protect like the back of my neck and the front and like keep it, relatively warm. But it
Just
can
like
be
you said,
used.
break in the wind, because if it's
Yeah.
exposed, your skin feels so much colder than if it's just a little covered. And those things usually aren't very warm. The gators, I mean, they're usually just they're not worth much fabric as far as where they belong and stuff like that. They're just like Ian said, perfect for breaking the wind. And if you could tuck them off to the back of your head, like when I wear mine, like my get up, wool socks, warm boots, Under Armour pants, like upper. And then if it's like a super cold day, I'll throw on sweatpants with another pair of pants over top. If it's not, it'll just be a pair of work pants or work jeans or whatever. And then it'll be long sleeve sweatshirt, full coat. And then if it's, again, not too cold, skip the sweatshirt, just go full coat. And then the gaiter hat, like skull cap, or one that has the whatever the opposite of the skull cap is, with like the brim, that if you need to fold it up above your ears you can, or you can fold it down and like catch more of the back of your head or whatever. But that is, the ultimate.
Yeah, I was gonna say like
The beanie. Yeah, the beanie, because it has the extra flap.
like I have for those that are listening and wondering why the hell I'm not wearing a winter coat or anything like that. Simply because I can't like move and do what I need to do like with such a big coat. Like truthfully, I have a nice coat that my company provided me, and it would work well. It's just it's a little baggy, so like at that point it's a little hard to like move in constantly all day, and then I'd just be taking it off and putting it back on and taking it off and putting it back on. So I found like a vest, like a nice, like I have like a Sherpa line vest.
Sherpa?
Is that Sherpa?
Is that Sherpa?
I got a Sherpa line vest, so like my arms don't get cold in that sense. It's like as long as my like chest area is warm, then I'm good. Because these are moving all day, and sometimes I have to climb in my vest. So, and that requires me putting on my like my saddle and everything to actually climb the tree.
Oh, yeah.
And but I've now been taking it off when I get in a tree. It's just easier that way. But it's like at that point I'm usually warm anyways. I'm climbing in a tree and exerting muscle strength and all that. But it's a pain, dude. It's a pain to deal with, because once you get out in the cold, like your body immediately like tenses up, and even now, like I still feel the tension in my back because actually I'm gonna straighten it out. All right,
That's it. Get the chiropractor on mid-episode.
dude. Yeah, I would love an absolute bone-breaking compilation right now.
Yeah. Like, all right, everyone, this is the ASMR part of our podcast. Listen closely.
It's just me, you hear my back snap in 13 different areas and me going, oh.
Yeah, just see if I can get one. I cracked them all before the episode started about 13 and a half times. I got nothing. Nice.
There we go, yeah.
Nothing. I do
Trigger
too
warning.
much bending and breaking during the day. And, I know all the people out there saying that cracking your knuckles is bad and stuff like that. But I'm on the side of science that says that it's not a big deal and it's just a bunch of air bubble bursting and all that stuff. But regardless, it's like Ian said, being able to battle the winter air is tough on the body, and being able to get caught up with it and tense body is possibly one of the worst things. And for me, it's not so much the tenseness of like how my body gets and the wear and tear of like that physical stress and strain, but it's the the skin that's not covered outside that gets all dry and crackly on me. And this winter, thankfully, I've been pretty good as far as keeping my hands gloved when I do go outside, and lotioned otherwise, but sometimes I get a little slow to the punch with trying to take care of my hands, and my knuckles will crack and separate and occasionally bleed. But fortunately, this winter has been kind to me, my knuckles at least, and it's not nearly as bad as it's been in the past, because Ian will tell you when it starts cracking and separating and getting to the point when you bend your fingers or try to wrap your hand around something or use your phone, it just becomes super painful.
Yeah, Zach and I have been absolutely cursed with dry skin during the winter.
Cursed.
And Zach has it much worse than I do. But it seems I might be getting it worse than him in the sense of like splitting fingers. Thankfully, mine haven't split yet, but they're getting very close to it. I can feel it. But I haven't had any like knuckle cracks and splits this year, which I'm very, very happy about, because they hurt and they're just annoying to deal with. Because as soon as they split, no matter how long the winter is, how much lotion you put on it, it's pretty much split for the entire winter. And like you might get lucky and it might heal over if you obviously if you're not outside as much and you wear gloves and do what you need to do. But if you're not, then you're kind of screwed for the rest of the winter, really. I had a full hand of splits along my knuckles one winter, all winter. And no amount of lotion, no amount of time stay indoors, no amount of care for it has ever helped it. So it's really just a pain in the ass. But I am very, very grateful this winter. And I think it's only because I wear gloves every day. Because I legitimately need to.
Gloves are the saviors.
I take them off every now and again, but truthfully, I wear my gloves every day. So I guess any protection. I think it also helps that I'm consistently sweating in my gloves as I work. So it keeps some of the moisture around my my hands in general. But like I said, I still get I'll get splits. I got one right along my pinky here.
Yeah.
That hurts.
Tough spot.
But
tough spot. Or the very tops of your hands, just above your hands. The very tops of your fingers, just before your fingernails and stuff. That's when it gets tough too, because those are your touch points for your phone, keyboards. Heck, even when you're eating food, handling utensils and stuff like that. Ooh, just thinking about it. Ooh.
Have you ever had split fingers like that?
On the top sides, not as much as my knuckles, but I've had them to the point where they'll leak out off the edges of my fingernails. Where you'll get hangnails and stuff. Those ones are the worst because they're the hardest to heal over, at least from what I've found. The knuckles are dealable. If you lotion them before bed and you're careful when you're going outside, they're not the worst. They're just when you bend your hands, they're a little painful. But the ones at the edges of your fingertips and above your nail ends are painful no matter what you do. You could just be existing in your house watching a television show and they'll just be crackling away, just easing into your suffering.
Yeah, I've only had that a couple of times and they're pretty damn close to at least 2 or 3 splitting here shortly. So I'm really hoping nothing causes that, but pain, dude, it's a pain. Gotta embrace the suck, though. Gotta embrace the suck, though.
Well, that's the thing. If you can get through that, you can get through a whole lot of other poor wintry mix stuff. I know for me, it's whatever. Dry skin, you can get through it. It's only a few months of the year. It ends up being whatever it is, 4 or 5 months, and it's not crazy. The rest of the year at least gives back as far as warm weather and decent conditions for rain and stuff like that. But speaking of the rain, when it comes down as snow and it becomes a mess, that's what really gets me. When I'm out having to take care of cleaning up my car, if I have to sit around and my car is super cold when I'm chilling in it, waiting for that 10 minutes of, oh my gosh, when is it going to get warm? Oh my gosh, am I going to die? Like, just sitting in your car when it's absolutely frigid, just having to sit there with just hoping that it'll warm up faster. Those moments suck.
Dude. I was gonna say, it's just like when you had to leave, like if say you went out somewhere, you went into the restaurant for a little bit, like obviously your car got cold, or whatever you did, like you went went out shopping, you were in there for like an hour or two or something like that. You get back to your car, and it's like you got nowhere else to go but to wait in the car.
That's all you can do.
And it's like pain and suffering for like 10 minutes until it warms up just enough, and then you're like, okay, all right, I'm warm enough. Let's just drive.
Let's just do it. Forget the car.
Let's just go.
I'm just gonna suffer in the coldness while I drive. That's 75% of what I do. The other 25%, if I have the chance, go start the car, go back into warmth, let the car do its thing.
Oh yeah,
that's big time. That's huge time.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But speaking on the rain, dude, like the rain during the winter time, God, I working in it sucks.
You're talking about making things like icy and stuff like that? Is that where you're going with it?
Icy, but just like everything messy. It's like so much different than like summer rains or like spring rains. Spring rains are like muddy, but and it gets everywhere in the spring, but truthfully, like winter rain is even worse, because if you have snow on the ground, you're screwed, because everything turns to slush, and then you're slipping and sliding everywhere. Everything gets muddy as well, and then you're also now, like if you're working out in it like I am, or if anyone else is, you're wet now in the cold. Because it's not like, oh, it's raining out, like in the summer where it's like 80 degrees and it's like, oh yeah, we needed some rain, and then it's immediately humid afterwards. This is like, oh my God, it's raining, and it's like 30 degrees.
Oh my Lord.
Like it's just enough. It's just warm enough for it to rain. So it's like 32, 33.
But the rain is still cold as all hell. Yes, it's possibly one of the worst things.
And then like if you're working out in it all day, you're soaking wet, you get back, it's like literally the day beat your ass, tossed you to the side and said, yeah, whatever, and then spit on you. That's what it feels like after working a rain day.
After getting into a bar fight, that's what it's a rain day.
But I mean, truthfully, I like the rain. I don't mind working in it as long as I can at least stay a majority dry. If I can keep my upper half dry, I'm good. Because like my boots keep my feet relatively dry, surprisingly. And I usually tend to rub like a wax, beeswax on my boots, on my leather boots, so the weatherproofing will hold up a little bit better and keep more of a water resistance.
Right.
So that helps as well. For anyone that needs to know, beeswax on leather works wonders. But they have all these fancy sprays now.
Fancy.
Yeah, but rain is terrible. If I can keep my upper half dry, we're good. My lower half is wet. It sucks, but like it is what it is.
Sometimes, yeah. But for me, if the lower half is getting wet, that's when it becomes an awful time. Not only like if you can keep your boots dry wearing waterproof boots, like a little bit of saving grace. But once those pants get wet, and like for example, if you're driving vehicles around with wet pants, or if your pants get wet enough that now it's soaking into your boots that have kept out the water, but the wet pants are getting your socks wet. Who thought that? Who thought that one through? Who said that my socks are allowed to get wet because my pants are wet? Like, come on, science, figure it out. But regardless, it's probably one of the worst things, because not only now, especially in the wintertime, is it cold and raining. Because you're wet, you're going to be infinitely more cold than if you were just existing dry in the cold weather. It's just one of those things where there is no positive to it. You're just wet and cold, and it's there's not any way out of it. It's the worst thing.
Dude, I know exactly what you mean by like the wet pants thing. Like it makes sense. And I truly I'm extremely thankful that my pants are like water resistant. So like they'll get wet over time, but at least for like the first like hour or two, like water will kind of like bead off them and it'll start saturating. Yeah, it'll start saturating in certain areas, but it's like for the most part it's beaten off, and then it's like, all right, now I'm going to start saturating myself and just starting but I'm very thankful for the pants that I have because there's multiple layers to it. So like inside is dry, outside is like, yeah, it's a little heavy.
Yeah, nothing new there, unfortunately. But that's kind of the way it is. And I have the waterproof stuff too, the water resistant, and it's leagues ahead of having to go through just wearing, like, for example, cotton out in, and I'm just thinking about during the summer, springtime, wearing cotton through the rain. You're pretty much going to get soaked if the rain's coming down even a little bit. But being able to battle stuff like that, especially in the wintertime, is huge. Because dealing with it when we were talking about icy conditions earlier, that's when stuff can get scary. Like if you're whipping around for work or even just driving vehicles around on the job, it's just not only can black ice become a problem, get into accidents and stuff like that, but then dealing with like the little slips and falls. Like, for example, paint a picture. You're already wet during the day, or you could just be having a bad day. They didn't have your favorite Slim Jim at the gas station when you're on your way to work, whatever. Next thing you know, you're going back to your car to get in it, and you're just like, oh, there's a little puddle in front of my car, no big deal. Go to step in your car, boom, slide back, fall on your ass, and you're just like inches away from throwing a little fit in the parking lot, sending fists in the side of your car, and you're just like, ah! Not only because you just slipped, fell, and busted your butt, but now you're in so much pain because you tried to save yourself, and you hurt yourself by trying to save yourself, and you were on the brink of probably breaking a finger or your arm or something like that, and just an awful little moment, especially if they didn't have your favorite Slim Jim. I know that would piss me off, so.
Dude, yeah, the Slim Jim definitely would piss me off. Like, how are they not gonna have? Are they not gonna have my? How are they gonna do that to me? You know?
How are you gonna bring a birthday gift to my birthday party on my birthday with a birthday gift?
Happy birthday! Yeah, no, I definitely would be the person to absolutely start just punching my car. You know? It's like, you know, it's
get in the car, throw your great value Slim Jim on the seat in disgust.
Dude, it's like when a day can't get any possibly worse, like any more worse, and it's like you get home after a long ass day, you're like trying to unlock your door, you drop the keys, and when you bend down to pick up your keys, everything that you're holding in your arm, like, you know, because you're probably bringing something and all drops out of your arm, and then it's like, you know, at that point you just want to absolutely jump off a cliff or blow yourself up. And at that point you're trying to get all the things that you dropped, and then you accidentally kick something like 20 feet away, and you know, you just at that point you just want to absolutely cut your feet off and just lay in the grass. But, you know,
been there one too many a time. Just the continual sighs after each event, just, and then you do another. It's just, and then that super extra long sigh at the end where you're just, oh.
Yeah, dude.
I know
that's
you
like,
could feel it. I know you could feel it through your speakers. Everyone that's listening, I know you could feel it.
A buddy here says that, you know, bad things come in threes, and he's always right. There's always three things that go wrong, and it could be anything. Like, it could be something on the job that we're dealing with, or just like I've noticed in general, Like it could be with anything, and that's an exact replica of bad things come in threes. You drop your keys, you drop everything in your arms, and then you absolutely smack something 20 feet away. 3.
It's the trifecta.
I was gonna say, it's just how it happens.
And this is the way.
Well, technically it's 4 because you had a really bad day at work and you just, you wanted to come home and just relax. But so technically 4, but in total. But we'll take the 3 bad things.
Ensued because of the mood of the day. I think
yes,
the day being bad was only because bad things happened. So there is a chance that earlier in the day bad things happened in threes.
very good chance. So you just had a double bad thing.
The double bad double? The double bad?
The double bad.
The triple double bad?
But I think on that note, we will have to conclude the happenings of a cold day. I don't know. So thank you guys.
We're sending a cold winter love away.
Yeah.
Appreciate all the love and listenings, and hopefully you can maintain your sanity through the rest of winter. Shout out winter. We love you, but we hate you. See you later.
Absolutely hate you, but I guess there's a love for it. I guess. But
love to hate it.
On that note, thank you guys so much for tuning in today. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. As always, check us out on everything that we're on. We got YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, and anything else you can find us on. Breakfast with Brothers, look us up. Make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, do whatever you want, yell at us, say we're ugly, say we're beautiful, whatever you'd like. And we will catch you guys on the Flippy Flop. Peace out.
Out for the, I'm walking the bull, out for the, out for the, out for the, out for the, out for the.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.